And we're back again, Barcelona 2015 on the beautiful highlight stand. Thank you very much. Now, as many of you know, we talk a lot about grow rooms and hints and tips. And one of the big things that we talk about is CO2, massively important. And we have the pleasure of having Josh from TNB Naturals. How are we, Josh?
Doing really well. Thank you guys so much for having me on the show.
It's good to have you. How are you finding the show?
Just amazing. This is my first Spanibus and nothing but positive and good things to say about it.
Good stuff. And you were at the Coventry and the London show last year, weren't you?
Yes, correct. Yeah,
Good
did
stuff.
the Coventry in London, had a tremendous response, met all sorts of great people, and had the chance to really show off the product and just what it can do.
Good stuff. Well, as many of you know, when we talk about CO2, obviously the canisters do really well, but not everybody can use canisters. They're big, they're bulky, they can be expensive, you have to replace them, and then there's all the valves on top with the time, and sometimes it's just too complicated, and people probably think, I can't really be bothered. So what's happened? Well, you've got some CO2 that's in bags, which is good and lasts a long time. And you know we talk a lot about that. Big shout out to Exhale. But sometimes you just need that extra bit. You need that extra bit in flowering. And the way we say to use TNB Naturals is throw it in on flower, because it's going to take it to about 900 parts per million in a closed grow room. Takes it to about those levels, doesn't it?
Yeah, 900 to even up to 1,200 in a closed room. And you know what we've really tried to do is design a simple, very easy to use, user-friendly product. What we really hear is just people love how simple it is. You know, like you mentioned, you don't have to buy the big regulators and all the costly equipment. You can just buy it and set it off and get instant CO2.
Yeah, do you know what I really love about the product is that plants don't really use a lot of CO2 when the lights go off during its nighttime. So some CO2 that is in there overnight is basically wasted and just extracted out. And with TNB, you crack open the lid, you add a litre of lukewarm water, put the lid back on, and then when it's ready to go in your grow room, you give it a good shake, and it's instantly releasing CO2.
Yes.
And then, so you start that, let's say you got your lights on for 18 hours, towards the end of those 18 hours, the amount of CO2 being released drops off for the night time, and then when the lights come back on the next day, you give it a good shake, reinvigorate the bottle, and then bam, you've got instant CO2 back again, haven't you?
Exactly, and you know that's one thing that really sets our product apart. It is heat and light sensitive, which, like you said, when the lights go down and the room cools off, it actually slows the release of CO2 at night, brings it down to around 600 parts per million, and really gives your plants a bit of a break. You know, research has shown that excess CO2 during the night cycle can actually be detrimental to your final yield. So I believe we are the only product on the market that actually slows down the release on its own. So, you know, the consumers don't even have to do anything. They can just know when the lights come down and the room cools off, that CO2 level is going to drop and allow the plants to do what they do, and that's give off CO2 at night.
Yeah.
So there's no need to try to confuse them by offering even more when they're actually putting it off.
Well, that's a really great piece of information. So if you didn't catch that, there's new research that's coming out and saying that actually CO2 during the night time of a plant's cycle can actually inhibit growth and formation of fruits and flowers.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
That's really good. Now, how long is this TNB going to last? I've put my water in, I've given it a good shake. How long can I have it in my room for?
Well, what we see is high parts per million for about 2.5 to 3 weeks. Right around that time, is when we first see our first drop in the CO2 levels. So we encourage users to add an additional bottle at that time. And then we also recommend keep that first bottle in there, though. It is still putting off CO2. It doesn't just completely stop one day. It's just around the 2.5 to 3 week mark is when we first start to see it taper off and see the levels go a little bit lower. So by introducing a new bottle at that point, and then also keeping your initial bottle in there, you're able to use 100% of the available CO2.
That's really great, because what some of our customers have been doing, they'll buy the bottle, after 3 weeks they think that it stops,
Right.
and they'll probably just throw it away. So that's, if you didn't hear that again, 2 to 3 weeks, but do not throw the bottle away, keep it in there because it keeps on releasing CO2.
Yes.
Another thing that customers may notice is that when you first add the water and you give it a good shake, you can notice a bit of a hissing, and that's obviously the CO2 reacting and coming out. Now, it doesn't always hiss though, but that doesn't mean that it's not releasing CO2.
Right, yes, I'm glad you brought that up. You know, during about day 2 to maybe day 6, you get that really big burst and you can hear it. And after that, it doesn't give you that same burst, but rest assured, through the numerous tests and studies that we've done with various CO2 monitors, even though it's not making that burst, please be clear that it is still putting off a tremendous amount of CO2.
Now, I've also mentioned beforehand on these podcasts, I have used them as well, in work and out of work and everywhere that we can put them, we're using them, and you really do see a difference. Now, talking on the forums, there's a lot of people that say if it's not canistered, this natural CO2, it doesn't do anything. Well, they can have their opinions, and I'm entitled to mine, but you know, it's got the TNB Natural's got the NPK stamp of approval. We've used it time and time again. It only comes up with great results, and all the customers that we've sold it to, they're repeat customers now. They're coming back to us saying, have you got any more of these canisters? You got any more? And because they're flying off the shelves, sometimes we don't have them, but we're going to make sure we get plenty from you this week.
Absolutely.
We're going to do a little bit of a deal, so we're going to buy a few boxes, I think, this weekend. What are you going to do free for us? Because Thomas isn't here, so it's up to me to sting you for a few free bottles.
Oh, done deal,
Good
man.
stuff.
I'll definitely hook you guys up, and we appreciate the NPK stamp of approval.
Excellent. Well, do you have any Facebook, Twitter, YouTube?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a huge following on Instagram. You can visit us there, TNB_naturals with an S. Facebook, of course, just TNB Naturals, and Twitter, we're just TNB Natural with no S.
Excellent. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
So if your grow room's not quite adequate enough to be lugging around big, heavy metallic canisters, and you don't want to be spending £200-300 on the emitters and all the timers, then trust me, the TNB Natural really is the product for you. Go out on a limb, spend the £30, which is what we charge for a TNB canister, and you won't be sorry. You'll be back to buy some more. Josh, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show, and congratulations on a great product.
Yeah, thank you so much. And just before we sign off here, I just want to let everyone know that we are about to release the first ever refill pack for passive CO2. That should be on the market here in about 1 month's time. So what that's going to allow growers to do is, once that original canister is done, they can simply empty out the contents, give the bottle a quick rinse, and then hit it with a refill pack. Not only is this going to be better for the environment, but it's also going to be cheaper for everyone out there and that much more affordable.
That's a brilliant product, and that's the first. Refills, TNB refills, you can get them at NPK in about 6 weeks' time. I believe that's going to be a great product. Thank you very much, Josh.
Thank you guys so much. Definitely appreciate it.
We'll be back in a bit. Stay tuned. Bye-bye.
At NPK Technology in Liverpool, we pride ourselves on providing you with the products you need at the right price. Once more, if the products you want aren't in stock, we'll order them in for you. And if you don't know exactly what you're looking for, we'll happily point you in the right direction. NPK Technology Liverpool, going out of our way to help you grow. Visit www.mpktechnology.co.uk.
Life is good.